Aya.
Good morning. I'm going to make life nice and easy.
Do you think you could read to count?
Of course. I could also handle the bills for you.
Yeah.
I'll give out points for helping out around the house, and you can turn those points in for rewards.
10 points for Gryffindor!
I ordered an organic meal plan for the kids. I hope that's okay.
So, Aya, what are you?
Think of me like another mom.
Afraid. I don't know what they want me to be afraid of, because this movie was really boring. So, was I afraid of being bored? Yes. But anyway, so this movie, I remember seeing it posted online, and I thought, oh boy, this looks like another one of those AI gone wrong films that we get one every year, or even two every year. And, you know, this looks just lame, and sure enough, I was correct. Well, so this one is about a family that is a part of a company that is sponsoring this other big company that deals with AI, and they are chosen to basically review a prototype for a new home system, almost like an Alexa. In fact, I'm just going to say this right now, they actually do reference Alexa, so they're like, oh, so it's like another Alexa. And the machine and the AI says oh yeah, she sucks. And I'm just like, oh, okay. This is what we're going with, of course. That low-hanging fruit. Okay. And then the AI goes wrong. It's, we've seen this done numerous times, and so there's nothing new except they go, hey, let's, especially with Blumhouse films, hey, let's take something like Megan, which they produced, and say, hey, let's focus it on a family and let's make it an Alexa, and take out all of the things that was fun and good about that film and just make it completely stupid and boring. And that's exactly what you have here. This film is written and directed by Chris Weitz, I believe is his name, who has done some good movies like American Pie and About a Boy, but has also done some films like The Golden Compass and Twilight New Moon. So it's like, okay, so he's got some good ones under his belt, but he's also got some that are like, okay, this is whatever under his belt as well. But this honestly doesn't feel written. This movie does not feel like anyone wrote it. They just took all the AI films that we've seen and just said, hey, we're just going to mimic that, but make it an Alexa. That's pretty much what they did. Now, the positive. The husband and wife are John Cho and Katherine Waterson. They're actually pretty good together, despite the script sucks. But they actually do a pretty good job together. And the opening 5 minutes, there's a prologue, is actually kind of cool. And was thinking okay, that was interesting. Unfortunately, it's like they spent all their time getting the audience invested in that 5 minutes and just said, okay, now let's get ludicrous. They treat AI like it's still foreign to everybody. And they keep saying oh, we need to be wary of technology. I'm like Stanley Kubrick said that in the 60s. And look where we're at now. So just, I don't mind when, films use AI in the story, to drive a story, but when you start acting like it's a foreign concept to everybody, or almost like we've never heard about it before, you start being okay, are you kind of treating your audience like they're stupid? because that's exactly what you're doing right now. This feels like one of those forgettable PG-13 horror films that came out and said, hey, you know, we need a dumb PG-13 film that we don't put any effort into. We're not going to make it interesting at all, and let's just pump it out and see if we can make money off of this. This feels like one of those films, almost like Tarot, where that film gave us an interesting concept and then didn't do anything interesting to drive it forward. This honestly felt like, you know, okay, Tarot is more like they had a nice looking car, and then they're on their way to a car show and just everything just starts falling apart, and they're just like, screw it, we're not going to stop and pick those things up, we're just going to keep going. This, Afraid, feels like they had a really kind of crappy car that doesn't really work, and they were told, like, you might want to get this fixed before you end up going to the car show. And they said, screw you, we're not going to get it fixed because we don't want to get it fixed. And so they just drove it to the car show, and then they get to the car show, and everyone's like, this is a piece of crap. And they go, really? It is? Because the differences between like this and something like Megan is Megan knew what it was. They were going, look, we know this isn't a foreign concept. We know this is ludicrous. We know this is dumb. But you know what? Let's have fun with it. And that's what made me enjoy that film to some degree. This one, they're taking it completely seriously. And it kind of hurts the film. And you know, when I talk about like those kind of movies, you know, do something like, I feel like they should have done something like almost like Megan, where they weren't serious about it, but they're completely serious about it. From the characters being really idiotic to the point where they can spill their life's work and information and stuff and personal stuff to an AI in 5 minutes. And it's like, no, what are you doing? Okay. And it really didn't feel like, at times, it really didn't feel like they had a script. They had a concept and then just said, oh, just say this. You know, why? Just say it. Just say it. It felt like they had like pages of a script, and then we're just writing in crayon, like, hey, just put this, just say this. Performances are just, despite, you know, as much as I like John Cho and Katherine Waterson and other things they've done, you know, they're the only good, you know, acting in this movie, and I've seen them do better. So they just went, okay, you know what, we're not going to put too much effort into this, but you know what, let's at least give something. And this was just, it very much was like those films where it was like, let's just rush out a PG-13 horror film just to cash in on audience members. Let's not put any effort into it. And especially with Blumhouse producing it, they said, hey, those horror films we've done, like Megan and even something like Unfriended, let's just do that. But with Megan, they weren't serious, and it was fun. Unfriended, while I didn't like anybody in it, I enjoyed the concept, and I liked how they were bringing out secrets within one another. And that's what made it really interesting. There is nothing interesting about it. They try to have a side plot with their daughter, and like the whole like thing that she goes with. I almost want to spoil it, because it's like, what this, I don't feel like this needs to be here. And let's just say it has something to do with her in school. And it's like, we did not need this at all. And especially with an end that's just like, okay. Another redeeming factor about this is that it is very short. Like, it's barely over 80 minutes long. So when the credits rolled, I was like, you know what? I wish I could say like there should have been more in there, but at the same time, I don't, because that would have just been more crap. And so this you know, I wasn't like angry at this movie. I was just more like, yep, this is like almost like what I expected this to be. Just completely forgettable. And I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm pretty sure no one's really heard of this film. Maybe like one or two out of every five people have heard of this film. But the 3 or 4 is like, I don't know what this film is because it's that forgettable. So, of course, this gets it terrible. And they treat their audiences like stupid, like they're idiots, like we don't know what it is. It's just, I even feel like, it feels very much like they were making it for a younger audience, but even the younger audience, I think, would be like outgrown by this. Like they just like, this isn't freaky. This isn't scary. There's nothing thrilling about this. So, this is one of I would say Blumhouse's most forgettable movies. They can just easily just throw this in there and just say, yep, you guys just want to make your money.
There is something very wrong with Aya.
Get out of the house, now.
Would you like to see what I look like?
Yes.